So, what is true love? I mean, we throw that phrase around all the time, but what does it actually mean? Well, in this explainer, we're diving deep. We're going on a journey to unpack a really profound and practical definition of love that honestly might just change how you see, well, everything yourself, other people, maybe even reality itself. Let's get into it.
Let's start with this idea right here, because it kind of flips our usual thinking on its head. So often, we think of love as clinging, right? Holding on for dear life. But what if it's the total opposite? What if real love is about creating space, about freedom? This quote really sets the stage for a pretty radical new way of looking at things. Okay, so if love isn't about possession, then what is it? In part one, we're going to look at love not as some passive feeling you just fall into, but as an active practice, something you build on four essential pillars.
So, true love is built on these four key elements: Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, and Upeksha. You can think of them as the core ingredients, the things that make love a living, breathing, and totally unlimited force in the world.
First up is Maitri, or loving kindness. It's the ability to offer happiness. But, and this is a huge but, it comes with a major catch. Imagine you love durian fruit. You think it's the best thing ever. So with the best of intentions, you give one to a friend who absolutely cannot stand the smell. You're not offering happiness, are you? You're actually causing them to suffer. This shows us that real loving kindness isn't just about good intentions. It requires deep, genuine understanding. Next, there's Karuna, or compassion. And this is more than just feeling sorry for someone. It's the active drive to help take away their suffering. Then we have Mudita, which is joy. And here's a simple test. If your love is making you cry every single day, it's not true love. It should be a source of joy. And finally, all of this leads to Upeksha, or inclusiveness. This is where the boundaries just dissolve. Their happiness is your happiness. You can't say, oh, that's your problem, not mine anymore.
All right, so now that we have the what of true love, we need to get into the why. The foundation that makes all of this possible. And this brings us to the real philosophical heart of our journey today, the concept of interbeing, which is also known as emptiness. To really wrap our heads around this, let's start with a really simple question that has a surprisingly deep answer. What is a flower actually made of? If you really look deeply into a flower, you start to see that it's made up entirely of things that are not the flower. You see the cloud that turned into rain. You see the sunshine that gave it energy. You see the soil, the minerals, even the person who took care of it. If you took away all these non-flower things, well, there'd be no flower left at all. And this is what emptiness really means. It's not a negative, scary idea about nothingness. It's actually a really positive concept. It means the flower is empty of a separate, standalone self. It can only interbe with everything else. Nothing can exist all by itself, alone. And this quote just nails the power of this idea. The philosopher Nagarjuna said this way back in the 2nd century. Because, think about it, if things had a fixed, separate self, nothing could ever change. A seed would stay a seed forever. But because of emptiness, because everything is connected, everything is constantly in a state of becoming. And this isn't just about flowers, it's about us too. You aren't some separate, isolated person. You are the direct continuation of your parents, your grandparents, all your ancestors. Every single cell in your body carries them. So to be angry at your mother or father is, in a very real sense, to be angry with a part of yourself. You literally can't remove them from you. Okay, I get it. This whole interbeing thing can feel a little abstract. So this next section is all about making it concrete. We're going to do that with a practice called signlessness, which is just a fancy way of saying we're going to learn to see beyond how things appear on the surface. So let's start with a simple image. We look up and we see a beautiful, fluffy cloud floating in the sky. It has a clear shape, a clear sign. And then, a little while later, the cloud is gone. Now, if we're just caught up in appearances, we might feel a little sad that it disappeared. But it didn't die. It hasn't vanished. It's just transformed. It has become the rain. And that story keeps going. That rain waters a tea plant. And eventually, that very same cloud is right here with you, inside the cup of tea you're drinking. The cloud never died. It just changed its form, its appearance. This is the practice of signlessness.
It's the incredible freedom that comes from knowing that a person or a thing is never really gone. When we lose someone we love, our grief comes from not being able to see their new form. But with the eyes of signlessness, we can see their continuation everywhere. And that can free us from so much fear and loss.
So this brings us to our final section, where everything we've talked about really comes together. Now that we've looked at the nature of love and reality, we can explore how to actually live with this wisdom. And that is the art of aimlessness.
Imagine you're a wave on the ocean. From your perspective, you have a birth and a death. You rise up, you crash down. You might be terrified of your end, but the moment that wave has a realization and understands its true nature as water, all that fear just vanishes. It doesn't have to go searching for water. It is water.
And that, right there, is aimlessness. It's this profound aha moment when you realize you don't need to run after anything. The happiness, the peace, the connection you're looking for, it's not off in the future somewhere. You are the wave, but you are also already the water. Everything you could ever want is right here, right now, if you just stop running.
And this brings us right back to the beginning, full circle. True love, then, isn't about possessing or keeping. It's about seeing. And there's one last story that captures this perfectly. So a young man was completely captivated by a beautiful butterfly, so much so that he caught it in a jar just so he could possess its beauty forever. But inside that jar, the butterfly started to wither. Its magic just faded away. And seeing this, he understood his desire to keep it was actually destroying the very thing he loved. So he opened the jar and let it fly free. And his heart didn't feel loss, it felt freedom. He learned that true love isn't about grasping. It's about allowing things and people to simply be. And that leaves us with one final question to ponder. Have you ever opened a jar in your own life